Have you ever heard of God mode? We've all heard about it if we've been in poker long enough. I remember one of the times that this term was most talked about was during the alleged Mike Postle cheating in a live stream. People were talking about how this guy was playing in God mode, and there's a negative connotation attached to it because if a human being can play in God mode, something that is not theoretically humanly possible, then it must involve nefarious activities. It must involve cheating. But that got me interested in what is God mode? What is it actually? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? And I think I've come to the conclusion that it's a great thing. You see, today I had a conversation with a good friend of mine and a client. Our relationship started as a coach and a client base, and now he's a great friend. 2 years later, we talk almost every day about this beautiful game that we love. And today we talked about what is God mode? Well, theoretically, the reason it's not possible is because it's a perfect strategy. It's always knowing what is the absolute right decision at any given situation, in any given spot, in any given line. Not only the action, but sizing. And even though people claim that by cheating you can play in God mode, I think God mode is even beyond that. Even if you are cheating, even if you are completely aware of your opponent's cards, maybe you're not going to be able to play the most optimum line, because optimum line is not just about winning, it's about maximizing EV, maximizing how much you're winning. It's not just enough to win, but getting the maximum out of the opponent over and over and over again in the long term. If we assume that there is a level that we can all aspire to, which is God mode, to always be able to pick the most optimum line and always know what to do, it involves being able to play in any given spot with any two cards against any given opponent and always coming up with the right solution. So how do we do this? I thought, well, let's work it backwards. If it's impossible to achieve, how do we get as close as possible to it? Well, I think we would have to deconstruct the situation backwards. I think we have to try to understand, before we understand the how to play in God mode, we have to understand, of all the possible styles available to us, known to us in the poker world, which strategy, which playing style closest resembles playing in God mode? And we do have four general categories, and I think they're too broad, but they work for a very basic starting line, which are loose passive, tight aggressive, and loose aggressive. Those are the four general categories that players tend to fall into. A loose passive line, it's something that most people, when they start playing poker, they embody that strategy without having studied anything, which is play a wide range of cards very passively. They're loose. The range of hands that they play is very wide, and they don't embody any aggression. Well, that opens up your options about putting yourself in a lot of different spots, but because you are not well versed in how to play them, you cannot think through all the possible options available to you in terms of EV and pick the most plus EV line. You tend to play it very passively and give up a lot of EV. It's no good. Naturally, the next progression from there, as we all know, it's the tight passive. You narrow your range. Now you stick to more value heavy hands to play, but you still play them very passively. It's very easy to exploit, but it's slightly less losing than playing the loose passive line. The next line from that, and this often becomes the strategy that break-even or slightly winning players employ, is the tight aggressive. This is the one that we've heard, that if you want to play at low stakes live cash games and you just want to break even or make slight profits, this is the one you have to employ. And we say that, when I say we, I don't include myself in it, but the poker world advertises it because it's relatively easy to execute. There's not a whole lot of thought behind it. Play a very value-heavy narrow range and play it aggressively and let variance be what it may be, right? And in general, because you are not going to be exploited very often in low stakes game, and they're very likely to pay you off, these strategies become profitable. But that remains one category, which is the loose, aggressive, the laggy style of play. What the laggy style of play embodies is someone who plays a wide range of hands, yet they have aggression in their arsenal. It doesn't mean that they're always aggressive, but they have aggression available to them. And oftentimes, when the situation calls for it, they default to that aggression. But it's not unbridled aggression. It's not a bull in a china shop. It's a very methodical thinking lag. Of course, you have the maniac style of play that they play large amount of hands, very wide ranges, very aggressively, but that's very maniac. There's not a whole lot of thought behind it. They're not picking the most plus EV lines. The one that I'm focusing on today is the lag who's a thinking lag, the Alan Keatings, the Garrett Adelsteins, the Tom Dwans in his best days, the Phil Ivies. These guys, although they are far from being God mode, I think they're closer than anyone else in the world of public cash poker. Perhaps maybe there are better players in the private world, but I doubt it. But at least from what we know, these are the guys who are closer to playing God mode than anyone else. Now, the question becomes, then how do they do it? I personally believe they achieve this level of consistent D plus EV efficient decision making through not only have the foundational and deep knowledge of the game, but also they have honed the craft of analyzing hands. Not only they can analyze their own hands, but they can analyze an opponent's hand based on the ranges and know in live settings in the middle of the hand under pressure how that person should be playing his range in any given spot and how they're deviating from that the optimum line and figure out how to exploit that deviation. This is incredibly powerful. So how do we develop this? Well, first, you need to have a full understanding of all the tools and theory available to you so you can employ them in your analysis, whether you're in the session or after the session. That means understanding everything. You have to understand ranges. You have to understand bet sizing. You have to understand position. You have to understand things like cap ranges, uncapped ranges, range advantage, nut advantage, and how they interact with each other. You have to understand the psychology. You have to understand tendencies and frequency and the math behind every decision involved. You have to be able to connect all the hidden dots between all these different concepts. Okay. Now, the next step becomes execution. You have all of this knowledge. How do you hone that execution in? Because you can have all the knowledge and not be able to pull the trigger, not be able to execute well. Well, the best tool that I've been able to discover to do this, and this is not new, many people already know this, is having very deep and intimate conversations about hands with other poker players that are just as passionate, just as obsessed, just as adventurous about this beautiful game that we play. Now, if you're lucky, you have a group of professionals, dedicated poker players around you that you can have these conversations with. But most of us, given that poker is a very solitary game and given the world that we live in today, most of us don't have that luxury. But those in the past who have had that luxury have absolutely catapulted their game to the highest levels, most notably the poker pro that we all love and respect and know, Phil Galfond. So how do we replicate that in today's world? That was the question that I had. And I realized that there is a real opportunity for my clients and you guys out there to join a weekly coaching call that I have been meaning to start. And we're actually going to have our first session of it this very Saturday. It's open to everyone that is in my community, the Killer Circle community. And if you want to be a part of it, let me know and I will tell you how to become a part of it. This is a feature that I've added. It's absolutely free for those who are in my community for as long as they're in my community. And this is a feature that other coaches charge thousands of dollars for. And I don't want to gatekeep it. I want to make it available to all my clients, everyone who's in my community. And if you want to be a part of it, it's going to be available to you. And in these sessions, we are going to analyze hands together. We're going to analyze hands that we have played ourselves, that we have seen other people play, either live or on YouTube or other poker content. And we are going to just go as deep as we can, explore all aspects of every hand, and learn from each other through these discussions. This is where massive incremental shifts happen in poker players because they already have the knowledge. Now they have to train their mind to connect these pieces of information, make connections between neurons in their brains that didn't exist before. I'm making it available to you guys, and I'm also taking these videos and I'm going to make them public on YouTube. But if you want to be a part of these group coaching sessions that are absolutely free, and right now I'm starting with just once a week, maybe I'll increase it to 2 or 3 times a week, depending on demand. There is room for you. You can be a part of it. Click the link below in the description. Schedule a one-on-one coaching session with me. And in this coaching session, not only I'm going to tell you how you can be a part of these coaching calls, but also I'm going to show you how they're going to be conducted. We're going to analyze a hand of your own. So bring one with you. And we're going to just take a look at your game and figure out how we can improve it and set a plan for you to take your game from wherever it is right now to the next level that you want to be at, either with me, in my community, or on your own. But most importantly, I want you to understand what powerful transformations can happen because of these coaching calls and how you can be a part of it. So I welcome you. Click the link in the description below or click the QR code on the screen right here, and I'll see you there.